Hello EBC. Today I've got an amazing privilege of starting a new devotional series for us as a church. I was so blessed by our time going through James. I was so blessed by hearing the heart of Jesus through the word of Jesus that is living and active in our lives. And the reason why I'm so excited to start this new series is because Jesus is going to do it all over again, as he always does. And this series is very exciting for a number of reasons. The first reason is that we are going to get very practical in this series. You see, it's very easy to go through the Bible and talk about some very deep and profound theological truths, and that's a really good thing. But often we're left thinking, oh, well, that's cool, but what do I do with it? How do I Christian in my everyday life? And especially in this time of lockdown, we're hearing some amazing truths, but how do I implement them in my life? How do I practically live them out in my life? And we're going to be addressing that directly in this series. The second reason why I'm so excited about this series is because we're going to be hearing from you. It's not going to be the pastors, it's not going to be the theologically trained people, it's not going to be the elders. We're going to be hearing from normal everyday people about how God is working in their normal everyday lives. You see, the beauty about the Bible is that the revelation that it gives us is equal. Yes, if you studied it and if you've gone to school for it, you might be able to use different tools, but it's the same Spirit who speaks to all of us, and it's the same Spirit who speaks through all of us. And so I'm so excited to see and hear how the Holy Spirit is working in and through our people in the everyday stuff of life. And today I have the privilege of kicking us off by answering the question, how do I practically de-pastor during a time of lockdown? I'm sure many of us have experienced that in this time of lockdown, it's all work all the time. Because we're not going to a physical space, because we don't have the privilege of getting out in our cars and going to start our day and then coming home and ending our day, we can feel like we're always working. We can feel like there's always something to do. And as a pastor, it's no different. And so how do I de-pastor at home? Well, the same way that I became a pastor. Now, this might seem like a strange thing to say, but how did I become a pastor? What did I do to become a pastor? The answer is nothing. I did nothing to become a pastor. I don't deserve to be a pastor. I'm not a better Christian than anyone else. In fact, many of you who know me will know that I'm a deeply flawed and selfish and broken individual who would not warrant the title of pastor in any way. But God in His goodness gave me His grace and His Holy Spirit who called me into being a pastor. And so what I mean by I de-pastor in the same way that I become a pastor is by surrendering. I became a pastor by surrendering to the will of God, and I de-pastor by surrendering to the will of God. In Psalm 23, we read this, "The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul, and He leads me in paths of righteousness for His name's sake." You see, I, like everyone else, am a sheep. And more specifically, I'm a sheep before I'm a shepherd. And I am called to shepherd the flock, and I love shepherding the flock. But I'm always primarily a sheep being led by God into green pastures. How amazing is that? Notice how it says green pastures and still waters. It's a what word am I looking for? It's a plural. And that means that God's not just leading us to one green pasture or one still water. It means that He's leading us to many. It means that everywhere He leads us, He's taking us to green pastures and still waters. And what do they represent? Rest. Green pastures is a beautiful, thick, lush piece of grass that we can lay down on as His sheep and rest. Still waters are waters that are still, that are not chaotic or frantic. It's peaceful. And so God leads us into those pastures. And so how do I de-pastor at home? I follow God. I just follow Him. I see where He is working. I see what He is doing, and I rest. I de-pastor by not doing anything. And I think this is an encouraging thing for all of us in this time of lockdown. The best way for us to be led into green pastures is to be led into rest, is to stop frantically working all the time and to allow ourselves the opportunity to just rest and spend time with Jesus, who loves us deeply. I'm looking forward to this series, and I can't wait to carry on in it. I love you guys and I miss you. Cheers.